Hey y'all, Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm, Southeast Ohio. This is November 10th, 2025. We're getting our first snow for the season. First snow, fun. It's a little slippery. The roads aren't going to get bad, I don't think. Our ground is still fairly warm. Our roadways are still fairly warm. I don't know what temperatures are now. Probably in the 30s, low 30s, just right for snow. But I think it is supposed to dip down into the 20s this evening. So I'm just going up here to check hens again and take them a little treat. I'll give you a look at that. So we got some Brown's Natural Encore Farm Fresh Fixins flaked cereal treat. So it's really appropriate for all kinds of poultry, and it's all natural ingredients. Hopefully the hens will like it. It's not super high protein, nothing like that. In fact, protein is really only about 9% in it, but we'll just put it into their feed pans, just something for them to forage at, since they're not going to be outside much today. I'll give you a look at their run. So the run is pretty well covered with a little bit of snow. It has that dirty snow look because it's pretty damp, pretty wet, but we're getting that little bit of cover on the ground there. Hey girls, howdy do. How we all doing? I know you got some layer mash earlier. You want a little snack? Let's see if they want to try this out. So they're probably not going to be real sure what to think of it at first. Want to try some over here, girls? She might take me up on it. This is the first time in a long time here at our place that we haven't kept a red heat lamp bulb in the chicken pen all the time. A red light in the coop actually helps deter some nighttime predators. So we would keep a red lamp hanging here to deter the nocturnal predators, plus it would emit a little bit of heat. It also emitted a little bit of lighting. Hey Elvira, are you checking it out? Look. Anybody gonna come try those out? There's Pebbles. And I was actually looking here, I don't see any more eggs. Any more eggs at all. And we only got 2 today. So egg production is really slowed down. It's very natural though, and we're taking that approach more now than we did previously. We still have some egg subscriptions to complete filling for some folks that have been very supportive of our small farm operation, but we aren't doing the same measures that we've done in the past when we were more involved in commercial egg sales. We used to take measures to keep artificial lighting on the hens in order to encourage more egg production, but we're not doing that anymore. So we are seeing the natural outcome of just letting the hens' natural biorhythm determine egg production. Plus, for the most part, these are breeds that don't lay as many eggs in a year's time as hybrid egg producers. However, barred rocks, like this chicken right here, they are really good egg producers. So still though, we'll experience some times when we're not getting the egg production because we're just letting nature take its course. And that is part of keeping hens. If you're getting into hens, haven't had hens before, we always want to remind people it's not realistic to expect a hen to lay every day all year long. That's not going to happen. Hens are going to take part of the year off. They're typically going to respond to daylight hours, and that's why egg production can be influenced by providing artificial lighting. Something interesting here with this group, our black Orpingtons have been in molt, but it appears that they have come out of molt. Hopefully they're completing molt. They're feathering back in nicely. I can particularly tell on their necks. They had really dropped a lot of feathers on their necks, and now they're looking more typical again. They are eating this treat. They seem to like it. There's a close-up of what it looks like. But flaked peas, flaked corn, flaked wheat, and flaked carrots is all that's in there. The instructions on the bag do say that it can be fed daily, up to 10% of their daily feed consumption. So really treat it just like a treat. It says it should be stored in a cool, dry area and should even be refrigerated for long storage. I'm actually going to be able just to put it in the can that I store their feed in out here, and it'll keep it dry and protected and rodents can't get into it. And we'll just feed it as a treat to the hens. Not necessarily something we're even going to do every day. But they do seem to really be enjoying it. So let's go take a look around outside at a few things that we're trying to finish up and maybe work toward for next year. So you actually can see there we got enough snow that the roof covered over. This is that little radish patch. There was still a few more radishes in there. I'm actually going to take some in. Nice. Here's another one. We haven't had the ground really freeze yet. There's a big one. That one's definitely ready. There's one that's ready. That one's big. Should have paid attention to it sooner, huh? Check out this one. Yeah, that's nice. So I think common sense kind of says at this point, it's not going to get warmer. So the ground's going to get cooler. So we're probably not going to get more growth than we currently have. So probably best. That one's split, but that's okay. Here's another large one. So we're a long way away from 2026 planting, but it's a time when you're thinking ahead about what's going to happen next year. I don't necessarily know that we'll use this little planting bed in exactly the same way. We actually talked about doing planting all the way the length of this long side of the house in front of the porch here. So that would be almost 40 foot of planting space long, and we would maybe bring it out 10 to 12 feet deep. So still have to wait and see what we're going to do there. Had quite a few radishes left there, so hopefully those are good. I am going to wash them off and take them in the house with us. It feels kind of strange to be washing stuff outdoors in the snow when it's probably in the low 30s temperature wise, but it's really just so much easier to wash these outdoors with the hose. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so a few last things. So this was the zinnia patch. We also had the Reed's dent corn here, and we did green beans here. So we just let the zinnias that were there all die back. We're going to replant that next season. So we'll be deciding what we want to do with that for overwintering it. If we're just going to leave it undisturbed until spring possibly, or if we'll wait for conditions to dry up and tear any of that out of there. Okay, so there's some of the corn that we had grown, and we've left the ears of dent corn on there. We're letting them continue to dry down, and we're in no rush to use that. We're going to save some seeds from it, and then also try to ground most of the corn kernels into cornmeal. But for now, it's still just drying right there. Probably we're going to leave it until about Thanksgiving, and then we'll definitely be taking the autumn decor down by Thanksgiving or the weekend after, and we'll probably see where we're at on the ears of corn at that time. So this is a hedge of sedum here near an outdoor seating area. Of course, we're probably not going to be gathering around the fire pit in the snowy weather, but we love this hedge here, and so the sedum blooms I actually use as nice accents in cut flower vases. But usually in the winter we just let the hedge stay in place, and then come spring we'll cut that hedge back down to the ground and it'll grow new growth from the ground. It's looking pretty. It's kind of getting covered. It's just a real light snow now. Okay, just gonna peek at this real quick, but these vines here are sweet potato vines. So we know there's sweet potatoes under there. In fact, right here. So that is the end of a sweet potato. Yes, we do know we need to get in here. We need to be getting these dug. I'm going to shoot for that tomorrow on November 11th. So I'm excited to see about those. Again, I don't have experience with that. I'm learning as I go with that, but I'm of the impression, just kind of processing by logic, that those sweet potatoes should be fine. We haven't had the ground getting really frozen, so I think as long as we get them out of there before we really get frozen ground, I think they're going to be fine. Same with our white and yellow potatoes. Last thing we're going to go look at, we've never cut down the Luffa vines, so let's go take a look at those and just see how they're looking. We're hoping to get Luffa sponges from the Luffa gourds that we grew at the meat bird barn during 2025. And I can hear those hens up there clucking. I'm telling you, I bet they laid an egg just as soon as I walked out of that building. Look at that beautiful little violet peeking out of the snow. There's another one. There's some more. Beauty is all around us. We just have to look. So that's where we're headed. I'm working on it and trying not to fall. Okay, so I made it without falling. So I think Wade and I are going to go to a Tractor Supply Company store this coming weekend. I'm starting my list now. I need a little pair of snow boots. I had worn mine out and I remember tossing them at the end of last winter, but I'm going to need them. I've been slip sliding all the way over here and it's hardly any snow, but let's take a look at these Luffas. Whew, the wind is brisk. Let's take a look at these Luffas and see what we've got going on. So you can see the gourds there. There's a large gourd right there. There's a large one there. So these are Luffa gourds. The vines obviously are dying back. We did have some tomatoes here. Those were Abe Lincoln tomatoes. Let's take a look over on the other side. This was the vine that really took off. There's the meat bird barn. No more meat birds, four-wheelers. Gonna be used for different purposes this year. So again, here, we didn't pull all these tomatoes. So at this point, those really aren't anything we're gonna use, but we have several gourds over here. There's 2 there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I count quite a few. I'm hoping total we get about 20 Luffa gourds. Look at the snow. Look, can y'all see it? It's like a snow globe. The idea is they're gonna dry down, and this one's turning brown, so you know it's drying down. So when it stops snowing, we'll probably go ahead and cut those off the vine and put them someplace where they're not getting moisture on them, and we'll just be letting them dry down. And probably hanging them up in the barn in there is going to be a good place for them. Whew. So we'll be letting those Luffas dry down, and we'll be studying how to proceed with getting gourds out of them and getting the seeds out of them and saving the seeds. And we'll save some seeds for next year, but we'll probably also purchase more Luffa seeds. The plan is to grow Luffas another time, another video, because I did not think it was going to start snowing this hard. We'll show you this another time, but we're going to be marking paths out for Luffa paths, and we're going to be marking out some planting plots for annual flowers. So we'll take you along with us when we do those things. So I got to go to work later at my off-farm job. I know that the state roads have been treated with freeze preventatives, so I'm on state roads all the way from home to work and back. So I feel confident everything's going to be just fine. But it is getting cold and I'm going in. So thanks y'all for joining me. God bless you. And join us again here at Twin Oaks Family Farm. Thanks.